Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Woohoo! Hello. Where are we here? Today is Tuesday. Yesterday was kind of a funny day, holiday session. Stock markets are back open today, and of course, tomorrow is the big U.S. presidential inauguration. Washington, D.C. lockdown. Oh my goodness, holy high anxiety and tensions. From what I understand, I think Ms. Yellen was speaking to the U.S. Congress today, pitching the idea that we all need to go into more debt. More debt, more debt, more debt. Woohoo! So anyway, they're calling it, I guess, stimulus, and hopefully they'll stimulate us out of this mess. Who knows? I wonder whether, the equity and risk markets were bid up into that year-end event. I've talked to you guys about that capital gains implication. I wouldn't be surprised if taxes are going to go up in the United States. I mean, taxes are already ridiculously high in my country alone. If anything, they've sort of run out of the ability to raise taxes because they're already through the roof here, and they just end up creating tax revolts. So we'll probably have continuing education requirements just to maintain your citizenship. Brought to you by the good people of the Central Planners. Got to make sure you're programmed correctly. Anyway, a little bit dangerous. Get a little bit of a sell signal up top here. I noticed some of the tech stocks like Apple just look like poop earlier. Actually, we even got on our signaling system, we got Davo signals. I know you guys in crypto love Davo. So we actually had a Davo sell signal on Apple there. So, if Apple starts falling apart, then we know we got problems tech-wise. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Might be a bit of a rotation going on in the market too, away from technology. I spent some time through the daily brief today talking about things like January barometer. And you can see market's catching a bit of a bid here through the day. So, ironically enough, it actually looks like this year might actually look very similar to last year. We have a big dump right out of the gate, maybe, Ides of March. That's when the lows were put in last year. Big seasonal rally into May, June, buy when it snows, sell when it goes. And consolidation through the summer. And a dump into the fall. Now we're got about another, 10 days left in the month to sort of see what, the end of the fall and sort of what the November, December looks like coming out of the year. Obviously, I'm being optimistic here, but we have no way of knowing what's going to happen here. So, but, ironically enough, that's actually a very typical seasonal sort of path that the stock market takes. So, looks like January barometer is just sort of telling us, well, looks like it's going to be business as usual. Always a challenge trying to figure out what the market's temperament is, risk on, risk off kind of idea. U.S. dollar index. Historically, usually if the U.S. dollar index is rallying, that is a risk off kind of vote. We are transitioning back into a U.S. dollar, though, bull market. So, believe it or not, I'm actually a U.S. dollar bull for the next 15 years. So we might actually slowly transition where it turns out growth is actually coming out of North America again, which we haven't seen in a very long time. U.S. dollar bull and U.S. dollar index bullish through the growth cycle, the greed cycle. Actually, that U.S. dollar index moving up should be bullish for the market. But these transition windows, they're never exact, right? I mean, we didn't really know that the dot-com boom was over until, Mr. Bush was invading countries like Iraq and stuff, and then we knew, yeah, dot-com boom, that's a thing of the past. So my hunch is it's probably going to be something along those lines, right? We're going through the pivot right now. We probably won't see the pivot, topping commodity prices, bottom in growth assets. Mind you, the growth assets are already taken off here. But we probably won't really see this in earnest, and you look back and you go, holy Jesus, look at that. You're probably not going to see this for the next couple of years. It's just going to be really choppy, especially, 2021 sounds to me it's going to be all about vaccines, and it's probably going to be about, bringing corporate America under rein after 4 years of just absolute chaos. They've got a new SEC chairman who's said he's going to drop the hammer on Wall Street, that kind of talk. And, of course, Mom there, she's at the helm out of the U.S. Treasury. And her, along with her brother, Jerome, over at the Fed, the bankers have got a nice, firm, tight grip on this society. Whatever the bankers want, that's basically where their bitch is. Welcome to your future. The one good part, I think, coming out of this, I get the distinct impression that from the sort of intellectual community, there's enough sort of, we do not want to go down the road of Klaus and his sort of like one world order and, you'll own nothing and be happy. I'm starting to hear a lot of sort of, from the intellectuals themselves, sort of saying, that's not really realistic. What I think is going to happen here, probably the bankers, Japanification. I've talked to you guys about this at length. Probably bigger government down in the United States, which, ironically enough, will probably kind of look like the Canadian government now. We do have socialized healthcare here in this country. Getting the United States of America to the point of having socialized healthcare is like pulling teeth. So, all of the right-wing angst about big government and stuff like that, all the sort of the 1% wants to do is just try and get the United States in line with the rest of these Western countries. Well, anyway, we'll see what happens. As for the market itself, I do get the impression to a certain degree that there's a bit of worry about how tomorrow's going to go. So I could have seen some risk come off the market just because people are like, oh, Jesus, 20th could just turn into a disaster. Having said that, like we said on the S&Ps here, we got a little bit of an M top that came in, but you can see they're trying desperately to take that back here. The cash market, though, was just riddled with gaps. So, could they chop it around here? Remember we had this funny candle, I guess it was a week or two ago. I guess this is the futures. On the spiders themselves, we had a really weird candle. And that's, a hallmark of this kind of market right now. Really weird price action. So, yeah, a little bit of an M top. Counter trend rally day. We'll see if we can break out to new highs. I noticed, too, also the junior stocks, they're catching a bit of a bid here today. This thing really hasn't topped out yet. And then finally our oil. It had that outside downside reversal on Friday. Again, counter trend rally today. I suppose everybody's sort of, sitting there with bated breath. What the hell's going to happen tomorrow? Dun, dun, dun. And my hunch is it's like if anything, that was almost like a sell the rumor, and maybe we're going to get a buy the news here. Who knows? Bond market, Mr. Bond Cake, of course, under a lot of pressure recently. I did watch a video of his recently. You could tell his attitude slightly changed a bit. But at the same time, too, I think on balance he's right that the economic forecast and all of the sort of, prognosticators of economic activity going forward are all saying that the economy is going to slow here. So it just makes sense. I mean, fucking everything's coming grinding to a halt. No, no public activities whatsoever. Fairs, country fairs, concerts, sporting events, all that whole part of the economy is gone. The question here I have is things like the restaurant industry. How long can these people survive before, they just simply run out of money? So I actually like the idea that the economy is going to be in the shitter for a while. The only question here is, what does mom and her crazy uncle, brother, Jerome do here? My hunch is they're just going to keep printing more bad debt and just keep monetizing the debt that's coming due, diluting the U.S. currency. Fugazi, I've shown you guys this image. This is our reality. What's real and what's fake? It's kind of shocking. It's depressing. This is what you see in the newspaper. This is reality about sort of value. I don't know how long this goes. I was telling the people in the Daily Brief today, the emperor has no clothes on. It's just a question of when does somebody finally say publicly, and actually it's a lady now, and she's about, 70, 80 years old. She has no clothes on. Frankly speaking, I hope in my lifetime it doesn't come to that. Because if it does come to that, we also saw what happened to the Soviet Union at the end of the 1980s, beginning 90s. I mean, it just turns into absolute chaos. I am living on the other side of this border. I'm over here in Canada. Now, we're a very controlled society. My hunch here is it doesn't dissolve into chaos. But if somebody comes along and says, sorry, United States of America, we're not taking any more of your bad paper, the whole damn fucking house of cards could come collapsing in. Of course, that's why you guys all love your Bitcoin so much. And Bitcoin keeps moving higher, so obviously people are voting with their pocketbooks right now. The only worry that I have is, this is the end of the cycle. They always say it's darkest before the dawn, all that kind of talk, right? That's back to these kind of images. So do we really want to get too overly pessimistic right when we're at the sort of absolute worst part of the cycle, right? We're in the shit right now. And, as you can see from these arrows, I caution people, try not to think about what the future's going to look like looking at the recent past, because usually it doesn't work that way. And what I think's happening, I've told you guys this, public broadcasts, bankers hate it when I say this kind of stuff. But I think that what's happening, especially with people like Klaus, is that they know that equity asset values are about to go up substantially in value. And they want to try and get you out of owning those assets as much as possible and give them to them so that they own these assets when they go up in value. So don't get suckered into taking on too much debt right now. That's asking for trouble. I always live my life neither a debtor nor a lender be. I got my money, my assets, my stuff. Hands off. Can you do that in this world? I think so. I mean, the governments, they're definitely going to come after a chunk of your assets now, along with Klaus and everybody else. Everybody wants any fucking assets they can get a hold of. And they might even hold a gun to your head. Don't be surprised in this kind of environment. Maybe go bury some assets out in the backyard. Right? Maybe go get a safety deposit box. Maybe go get a USB device and put your private keys on that and then go bury that out in your backyard. That's the kind of environment that we're in right now. Unfortunately, Uncle Joe is going to come across as your best friend, but I wouldn't be surprised if Uncle Sam, for you Americans, he's not your best friend. And he might be coming for a chunk of your net worth here just to make sure that he survives. Anyway, party, woohoo! So see if you can try and get through this culling. It's going to be ugly. Obviously you guys got your Bitcoins and stuff as a great hedge. As it stands right now, of course, we've got a big fundamental event coming up with things like Ethereum, so it makes sense that Ethereum's getting bid up here. And, of course, if you ever talk Ethereum, then what we're really talking about is DeFi. Woohoo! No, well, I don't know. It's one application, but, man, these DeFi names, we banged out a double out there on stake. Just stepped in when nobody else wanted this stuff there a few months ago, and actually we're starting to get paid now, so that's not so bad. I wouldn't be surprised, for next month or so, this part of the market is HOT hot. Um, I had sort of talked to you guys recently about following along this DeFi index, and I remember specifically saying to you that I couldn't take a trade through here. But so fucking what, Brian? It turns out the damn thing's ratcheting higher here. I totally got left behind. Yeah, I mean, it does happen. This particular setup here, and sometimes you do see that. Maybe if I had gotten like 3 higher lows, maybe I could have snuck my way in here. You know, I'm the type of guy where I see so many setups day in, day out. I can just pick and choose. I didn't have to take this trade. So, you know, that's the kind of setup where I just leave alone. But you can see what happened. Fascinating, right up into a foggy level. I'd be wondering, though, you know, is there too much left in the tank? We're running into foggy levels. We've hit this bull ABCD objective. February 8th is the big DeFi event. That's right about here. So, you know, I mean, maybe there's a nice blow off top, all sorts of orgy. But, you know, don't be surprised if we find some sort of top up in here. So, you know, on this particular asset, I didn't really do anything. But, you know, I mean, I think I've told you guys, I'm going to say you know, but I think I've told you guys. I just come in here, you know, like the stake. I'll just come in here and I'm just accumulating. Picked up some of that Kusama. I like that as a play in this space. Look at that beautiful W on that dot. I mean, this part of the market is HOT hot right now. So, you know, I mean, hell, look at that. Finally, Chainlink finally put in a beautiful little W down in there. So, there they go. And the only way you can really participate in this stuff is you got to plan ahead of time. When the W comes in, you already know how much money you're going to put at this thing. You know exactly where you're going to enter. You know where your stop is, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, you also know where you're going to take profits. So, you know, if you're set up and you're good to go, rock this market. I think for, like I said, where are we here? We're now the 19th, so we've got 1 week, 2 weeks. You know, obviously there's going to be some fun through the weekends. We all know what they do there. And I think the ETH event is like the Monday over here. So that's 1, 2, like literally 3 weeks where this is kind of what I think is going to dominate here. So have some fun with this. We got a little window like library credits. Man, this thing it's made a lot of money for people on the site. And some people are like, I'm going to get off another double because they went in, they bought, they sold, they bought, they sold, they bought, and here it goes again. And meanwhile, I'm still sitting here at 88.6 going, are you going to fill me? Jerks. So anyway, it's fascinating to see this thing. They just did like a live streaming thing overnight, so they're getting their plan for it ramped up. I tell you, this thing's got, like, I don't even want to make predictions. I don't want anybody to be like, ooh, this guy's touting this, but I'm telling you. If you ever hear Brian pound the table, it's probably worth picking a little bit of that up. But I'm not telling you what to buy. You know me, I'll just tell you what I'm doing with my money. Actually, I even went to the TRI team yesterday. I said, you know what? I'm willing to actually step up and put some serious money to work here. Because, man, you don't see opportunities like that every day. But with that said, I don't want a single person watching this video even thinking about buying that thing. All right, so there you go. Yeah. I mean, look at the W's. I think we looked at that W or that dot already. I mean, oh my goodness, they're all over the place. Look at this one, this ant. Look at that W. It's so well defined. Nice and tight. Tight W's. Tight double bottoms. Yes! Okay, Brian's getting a little crazy. I mean, yeah, just pick and choose. Go shopping. Have fun. Sound bites. And actually, just to finish off this video, I think this is a perfect analogy. One of our site members, Colin, he started to draw up this color-coded graph, sort of alt season, Bitcoin season. So alt season's when this is green, Bitcoin season when this is red. And it's kind of cool to see. We just M'd out on the dominance, so it looks to me like we are in an altcoin season right now. until this starts Wing out. You can see when it W'd out before, then we went back into a Bitcoin season. So as long as this is making lower highs and lower lows and just everything's humping along, it looks to me like altcoins are the rage. And this makes sense, right? Because what's the fundamental driver coming forward? Is it a Bitcoin fundamental driver? No, it's a Ethereum fundamental driver. So, I think that makes sense. And I think probably that's a great image to finish the day on. Get out there and have some fun. Hunt your W's, hunt your ideas. Try to see if you can get like volume confirmation of the W's and OBV. If you can get a W and OBV and RSI and Williams percentage R and all that stuff simultaneously. Oh, love those signals. I think probably for the next week or two, you got a nice little window here. So just go out there and try and have some fun and make some money from trading. All right, everybody. I'll leave it at that. Have yourselves a great rest of your day. All the best and bye for now.